with us today. Please give a very, very warm welcome to William Dalrymple.
77 years ago this week, 750,000 Palestinians were terrorized, raped, and brutalized out of their homes and farms and villages in the Galilee, from Tiberias, from Bet Shean, from Safed, and the great Palestinian ports of Jaffa and Acre. At massacres like Deir Yassin, they were driven out with napalm and machine guns and machetes, and forced to flee from their olive and orange trees into the barren sand dunes of Gaza, where they remain. At the end of 1948, less than 15% of the Palestinians remained where they had always lived. 85% had been ethnically cleansed. This happened because the politicians of this country enabled it. I don't know whether you're aware, but we're standing next to the Colonial Office here, where Palestine was run from. We're next to Downing Street, where the Balfour Declaration was delivered. Under British rule, the indigenous inhabitants were disarmed and their leaders were arrested and sent to prison camps outside the country. So they were unable to resist in 1948. This country has a historic responsibility to undo the mess they created. We, of all people, need to oversee the creation of a Palestinian state. We need to provide protection for the Palestinian people who have suffered because what of our grandparents' generation did. And they regarded the Palestinians as less than human. No one more so than Winston Churchill, whose statue is just behind me. In the darkest days, when asked to stop Zionist migration into Palestine in 1937, this was his answer. I do not agree that the dog in the manger has the final right to the manger, even though he may lay there for a very long time. I do not admit, said Winston Churchill, that a wrong has been done to these people by the fact that a stronger race, a higher grade race, a more worldly wise race has come in and taken their place. You'd have thought that this shameful history would galvanize our government to atone for past mistakes and make good for past failures. Sadly, far from it. Instead, we still provide diplomatic cover for Netanyahu's extremist administration, which has made its intentions entirely clear. This week, Smotrich, Netanyahu's finance minister, went on television and said Gaza will be completely destroyed and its population will leave in large numbers to third countries. Yet this government has done nothing. Shame on them. It is complicit with the most public and visible of war crimes. At this moment, 500,000 Palestinians are facing starvation. 1 million others can barely get enough food. Human Rights Watch said that Israel's blockade has transcended military tactics and has become a tool for extermination. Yet this very week, just 3 days ago, in this city at the British Museum, our elected representatives from across the political spectrum, from Labour, the Conservatives and Reform, gathered together at a party thrown by the Israeli ambassador to celebrate that ethnic cleansing of Palestine, that theft of land and farms and villages. Labour ministers stood up and applauded themselves for using our tax money to send the RAF to assist in the genocide and to gather intelligence on behalf of the IDF, to enable the murderers to kill more children with weapons and aircraft parts made in this country and freely exported to the IDF. Shame. Shamefully, more weapons for the IDF have left Britain under Starmer than under the Tories. It's appalling. The truth is that our leaders do not know the sufferings of the Palestinians because their story is not taught in our schools. The BBC is too spineless to put on documentaries which tell their stories. The British people are not taught the dark history of our responsibility for this mess. But just look at the crowds here. You cannot suppress the truth. There is darkness all around us sometimes, it feels. We wake in the morning to see on our phones these children of yet more slaughtered innocents. But it is in the blackest darkness of night that we dream best. And our dreams are not fantasy, they are an urgent reality. For we dream of freedom and we dream of justice. We dream of dignity and decency and human rights. We dream of a world where Palestinians are not burnt alive in their tents. We dream of a world where they are not herded like cattle from refugee camp to refugee camp for the final slaughter. We dream of a Palestinian state supported by our government, where Palestinians can live in safety and fear. We dream of the kind of coexistence that existed in Palestine before the British Mandate, where Palestinian Muslims and Palestinian Christians and Palestinian Jews shared common places of worship and lived peacefully together. We will unite against the bigots and racists in our parliament who support this genocide with their inaction until the slavery of the Palestinians is ended and their statehood is achieved. In the last 18 months, we have built this incredible movement. There are still people crossing the bridges. Nearly 400,000 people have gathered today. This is a movement that transcends race and class and colour and creeds, where Muslims, Christians and Jews and those of no faith come together for basic justice. Seeing the crowds here, we know that this night will not last forever. If we keep the pressure up, the sun will start to shine. Ours is a movement that asks our politicians to reimagine what we think possible in the Middle East, to move beyond the calls for mass murder and ethnic cleansing and a Riviera for the rich, and to bring peace and freedom and dignity to the most downtrodden of refugees whose subjugation has gone on for too long. We dream of freedom for Palestine!